Yes, I love this land. It takes my breath away.
Welcome back to Texas 10. I'm Melissa.
And I'm Eat Too Much Steve.
Yes. Well, it especially applies to this today because we are here with Kyle Citrano, who is one of the owners. He and his dad, and I don't know who else is a family cousin, is responsible for George's in Waco and Jorge's. And we've been to both.
Oh, we've been to both. So
a lot.
First of all, thanks.
I can vouch for them.
thanks for being here, Kyle.
Of course.
George's, like, one of the things we do when we travel around Texas is we try to eat at the local places, and we love cafe food, right? The home cooking sort of thing. And we have very high standards because we attended Baylor University, and George's is a Waco institution.
It is.
And all the cafes are judged against a George's standard.
I mean, George's is very high. And so here's the thing about George's. It has the best chicken fried steak you've ever eaten with the best gravy, and they have these rolls that come out before, and there's other things that are healthy if that's your thing. And then, and I am not a beer girl. Steve can attest. I really don't like beer that much unless I'm at George's. And it comes out in this large, it's called a Big O, and it's like icy on the top because those, so I don't know, what is the secret? How do you get the beer so cold?
Two things. One, you got to freeze the glass. And so trying to wash glasses quick and get them back in the freezer, we have a rotation. That's part of it.
Is there a person that just is the glass person?
It depends on where you're at. If it's in the dining room or you're eating in there, those go through the dishwasher and go into the cooler. If you're working on the deck area, those have their own individual freezers. So you'll see the stop-go signs on where they should be pulling, so it gives them enough time.
Wow.
The other part of it is the beer's chilled. So we use a glycol chill system. So a lot of places, if you're pulling from a keg or you're pulling from a thing, it's just a straight shot. For us, when we pull that, it's got glycol chilled lines that keeps it cold all the way to the actual tap. And so when it's hitting that at 27, 28 degrees. So that's why you get that nice frost and chill.
Wow.
Okay, so it's not just our imagination. It's actually really, really
Yeah.
So that brings me to sort of the bigger point, which is like I said, we search out cafes, and what breaks my heart in a lot of particularly smaller towns is you see the closed up cafes, right? And so I know George's has always been sort of a family, another family before yours,
Correct.
and then another family business. How do you keep up with, restaurant groups that have billions of dollars to spend on marketing and have the competitive advantages of buying X amount of food and all the rest of that? How do you actually stay in that battle?
It's hard. It's gotten way harder recently too. Food costs has kind of gotten crazy. That chicken fried steak's gotten a lot more expensive. Beef prices, chicken. So you're constantly evolving. You're constantly trying to keep up with it. I think one way we do it is our volume helps a lot because we are so busy at both of our locations. And now adding in Jorge's, it's allowed us to kind of build that economy of scale. We're never going to catch up with some of the big dogs that have 3,000 stores, 1,500 stores. But I think loyalty is a big part of that. Our partnership, we've been with Benny Keith Foods for almost 20 years now, I think. And some of our local partners here, like Waco Custom Meats and Jesse's Tortillas, the people that we've been buying from for years, those relationships matter. And we've never been one to go shop a whole bunch. And so I think that allows us to build that respect with each other and knowing that we're not going to go shop them, so they're going to try and give us the best price point. We've worked with that relationship with Benny Keith where some places may try to use Cisco or PFG and they're trying to just find the lowest price, when we've really worked to build a relationship with them where we have some set parameters in there that helps us really to control our costs.
Oh, that's really
Wow,
interesting.
that is so interesting. And I guess your family, how long have you been in the food business?
I was born into it, essentially. I was born in 1986 in the Woodlands, Texas. My dad was a president of 5 restaurants for a guy named David Tinsley. They owned a place called Steak and Spirits. There was one in the Woodlands, Huntsville. They had a couple other locations. And then right before I was born, he told them he was going to move to Waco and open up this place called the Elite Cafe and the Health Camp on the Circle. And my dad was like, I'm about to have this kid. I'm not leaving. He said, well, if you don't go, you're not going to have a job. And so we moved to Waco in 1986 and opened up the Elite Cafe and had that from 86 to 93. My dad was supposed to be able to get some more ownership. It didn't work out with David. And so he left and bought George's with David and a local builder in town named Glenn Screws. And then after about a year, bought them out, and we've had it since 94 on our own.
Well,
Okay.
that's interesting.
So we've got all sorts of stuff.
Wow, I'm like, I had no idea, because growing up, now the Elite Cafe was here a lot longer, and then they shut it down, and
the
so they
Coleus family,
right.
yes.
And as a little girl, and I'm a little bit older than you,
That's okay.
we used to go from San Antonio to Athens, and you had to go around the circle, which I thought was really cool. And we would either eat at the Elite or Health Camp, and so those are also iconic restaurants. Now, the Elite Cafe has been bought by Chip and Joanna, and it's now theirs. It's not like it was, but
No,
still.
it is not like it was.
It is not. It took me a
It's-
couple of years to go in and once
And
they
be okay
opened,
with
because
it.
it was
Yep,
that was
yep.
really my childhood, and
Yes.
so I could tell you where everything was in that building.
So,
Right there
okay,
with you.
before your dad's group got into it, and this may be the reason it was closed at the point. That point, when I was at Baylor in the late '70s and early '80s, it was still open. But when we took pledges, the night that we took them, they would rent the back room to us for $100 and just give us a hose when it was all done to make sure. And so that probably wasn't great for the rest of the restaurant business, and led to maybe the opportunity when the Tinsley Group came up and bought it.
It was a great experience, growing up there, and my dad got to do a lot of incredible things. I mean, my dad was out at the Koresh compound every day while that was going on for 52 days, feeding ATF, and so there was just lots of dignitaries that came through. It was the place to stop in Waco at that time, and that's where my dad really cut his teeth in Waco and built the relationships that he did, so that George's could be so.
Well, then I think it's great. So he buys another established restaurant that has a huge tradition as well. Tell a story about Baylor Kids and Big O's. Do you know the story?
Well, so here's what I can tell you. The original George's, originally it was called Harry B's. It was opened in the 1930s by a guy named Harry Burmeister. He was a football player for Baylor. He was a founding brother of the Nose Brotherhood there. And Baylor kids would come to drink at George's, and they would get. And
I'm shocked.
I don't know if there was dancing allowed, but I do know that they were drinking.
Once there was drinking, then dancing followed.
Yeah.
I will tell you that.
There was a jukebox, so you never know. But the Big Orange is what everybody would get, and that was kind of the code word for a beer. Now, back then, a Big Orange or a Big O was just like Budweiser. They only had one beer on tap. That was it. And that was the spot for a lot of people from those days. In the 60s, George Beatros bought it, changed the name to George's, and it still stayed that way. It was kind of the local watering hole for Baylor kids. You get a cheap chicken fried steak or some barbecue and a beer, and you'd go hang out. And when we owned the Elite and I was a kid, we would go hang at George's with my parents. We'd go play the shuffleboard machine. We'd listen to music.
That shuffleboard machine was great.
I'd pop butters on the ceiling as a kid. I mean, like that was a part of my childhood, and we loved that place, even though it's way different now than what it was then. It was we can go into it later, but it was quite an experience changing that place over when we bought it.
Well, I love though you changed it. It is a great location. I love the bar. It's a great place to watch games at. But you still kept. I mean, I walk into George's and I still feel like a college kid.
Nostalgia is a lot to people, and it's always great when people drive through town and they tell me how much a Big O was when they were at school, or they can remember these waitresses, the ladies that raised me in the restaurants, the Wandas, the Carols, the Shirleys, the Phyllises, those people like that. Those are the people that a lot of people remember, and they talk about, oh, well, Wanda cut me off one day, or I went and had breakfast in the morning, and it's just those experiences, those people. That's the nostalgia part for sure.
Well, let's back up a little bit, because hopefully we're talking to people that aren't as familiar with George's and Waco as we are. Tell them where you have two locations of George's.
Correct.
Explain where they are and how you get to them.
Okay. So right now it's a little crazy because I-35 is being moved around a little bit. But our original location, the one that's been there since the 30s, is on 1925 Spate Avenue in Waco, right off of I-35. You'll take the 17th and 18th Street exit if you're traveling southbound. If you're traveling northbound, that's where it's a little bit chaotic right now. You'll have to kind of look and see where you can exit earlier. But That location is our bread and butter, has been there for forever. We aren't open on Sundays, so those traveling, it's always important to know, don't try to stop on Sundays there. Get your time in on Friday and Saturday. And then in 2010, when I moved back home, we opened up a second location at 1201 Hewitt Drive, more in the suburbs, more where I grew up, near Midway, where that side of town was growing, that West Waco corridor. And so that's been 15 years now. And then we just opened up Jorge's, which is on Franklin Avenue at 4225 Franklin, right in between the two locations. So, and that one is open on Sunday. So hit us at George's on Friday.
There you go.
Or Saturday, and hit us at Jorge's on Sunday on the way home.
So before we move around away from the real comfort, I will tell you too, we took our daughter on her 21st birthday and said she could invite as many people as she wanted, and we all went to George's, and I'm just going to say it's still a great value.
Wait,
we're trying. We're trying.
I tell this story. For her 18th birthday, when she was in Dallas, we took a group of them out to Dave and Buster's, and
a small fortune.
Yes.
It was a fortune at Dave and Buster's. And then there was a bigger group in Waco of her college friends, and I think maybe a couple of her high school friends came down from Dallas. And it was a fraction of the cost of the Dave and Buster's outing.
I mean, Steve was tempted to take up the tabs at the other tables because this is awesome.
Yeah, that's one thing we've really operated on for our whole careers has been value, and value is in the eye of the beholder a lot of the times, and so perceived value is important. So when you come to George's, you're going to get large portions, you're going to get quality meals, and you're going to get it at an affordable price point.
Okay, so now we're back to so like you said, it was inexpensive in the grand scheme of things, but it was still the same great chicken fried steak, I remember. And I have to check myself because it's, like you said, it's infused with nostalgia, right? I mean, it was a great place for Baylor kids to go because at the time, Baylor was a private school that attracted middle-class kids, and so
we didn't have a lot of money.
We were on a budget,
right.
and so you have all the college memories, and that can make the food taste better.
Absolutely.
But when we bring people, like we had Kelsey's wedding here, and we had people from Dallas and whatnot brought them, and they hadn't been to George's, and they all echoed how good the chicken fried steak was. So why is the chicken fried steak at George's so good?
Oh, man. So what I can tell you is the chicken fried steak you had in college and the chicken fried steak you have now is not the same.
Okay, well.
It is not the same.
And
you talk about value in Baylor students. I always think about my father, whenever we bought George's, Baylor students would come in and just get a beer and get a bunch of rolls. And
we finally call them beggars.
So eventually Dad was like, we just can't keep giving these away. So we started doing Baylor beggars, and it was rolls and ranch, so we could at least charge them for it something instead of them just walking in and robbing us blind. And so definitely helped there. Now, and that you talk about the nostalgia, there are still people that ask for the old chicken fried steak. When you would come to George's back in the day, you would get a round steak, and this will sound terrible, but it was a chopped and formed chicken fried steak. So they're taking different parts and chopping it up and making it into a patty, and that was a chicken fried steak. There are some people that still love that.
Ew.
They never ate that chicken fried steak without all the breading, and so it was smothered in gravy. You could never see. If you saw it without everything on it, it was terrible. I can remember as a kid, it was shocking. Like, it was like, this is what we serve.
Yeah, you just burst my whole bubble.
No, it was still $2.35.
That's why it was so cheap. So it's what's changed. So as we progressed and we bought George's, we knew that, and we wanted to improve on that product, but it was hard you couldn't just take it away. So we instituted the chicken fried steak and a country fried steak. The country fried steak was an inside round that we were doing. We were pounding it out. It was done the right way. And so we had both on the menu, and then slowly started to just move away from that old chicken fried steak. And so that's been that way now for forever. And then we brought in the chicken fried chicken. And then about maybe 5 years ago, I think, is when we were introduced to Heart Brand as a company, which is a locally Texas company that does Akaushi beef. And they were a bunch of guys that we used to buy our chicken fried steaks from a different company called Eddie Packaging. And some of those guys left and started this Akaushi company called Heart Brand. And they introduced us to their chicken fried steak that they did. And it is a step above even our own chicken fried steak. So we have a Cadillac, or the Elite chicken fried steak that we put on the menu in honor of the Elite Cafe. And that chicken fry is an Akaushi beef one. So you've got both options available.
Okay,
I am
so
so hungry right now.
okay. Well, you're gonna have to wait till Monday for the chicken fried steak.
Or you could go to Jorge's. It's
Yeah,
Sunday. You
yeah.
could get the Akaushi chicken fry there.
All right, so so it starts with a better cut of beef than you would have expected. That's,
Yeah,
right?
using the inside round is where it's at. You've got to pound it out. So we've got a really great partnership with Waco Custom Meats here in town that does our chicken fried steaks for us. We've tried them frozen, we've tried them fresh. We've found our own part that works for us. And whenever anybody orders that product, it is hand breaded right there on the spot. So I think the secret to our chicken fried steak that most people always try to figure out is that we actually season our flour. Most people, they don't want to season it. They're afraid to make it too salty. We have a blend of spices that we add into our seasoned flour. That's the same flour we use for onion rings and chicken fried chicken and a lot of different things at the restaurant.
good.
And so that seasoned flour really helps enhance that quality of that chicken fried
That's
steak.
a real Southern cook
Yeah.
tip. I mean, I grew up with my grandmother and my mom. I mean, everything we ate was fried, but they always seasoned their flour
You
before.
have to season the flour using buttermilk. You
Yes.
want to double batter it, so you flour, buttermilk, flour. And then the big key, the big key is
I feel like we're getting secrets.
I mean, like I said, there's only so much I can give you.
Actually, I will tell you, I grew up watching that at my house.
It's great.
You're a Midwesterner.
The most important thing, though, I think for us is the press. So when you're pressing it and you really get that press, you're breaking up some of those fibers. The jacquard they use when they tenderize the actual beef before it comes to us, when it looks, it's got these little dots in it. And so when you're pressing it out, you're breaking up those fibers and you're also helping it to where the breading stays in the meat. So when you cut your chicken fry, you don't get that just loose breading piece and there's no meat in it. Because if you don't press it enough, it'll shrink in the fryer.
Wow.
And so that's the key. You got to press it. You got to flour it the right way. The cook time is not long. You definitely don't want to burn it, but you got to make sure it's cooked all the way through.
The science and art. I mean,
of deep
and
frying
I
things,
am going to say, as much as I'm like listening to all this, I'm still coming to you guys to
Right.
make that for me.
Well,
I'm probably not making it at home.
No, they don't. Nobody wants their house smelling like chicken fried steak. That's
Right.
the problem. You know?
I that is true that you get fried chicken more. I don't really remember much home chicken fried steak.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons people order it out so often is it's not often made at home.
You didn't grow up in my house.
My father was the same way. He grew up Italian guy and family of 5, and so every Sunday it was spaghetti and fried chicken. That was like the thing every Sunday for Sunday dinner. But my grandmother would make these Italian cutlets, and it was like a breaded veal cutlet kind of thing. And that was like my dad's chicken fried steak growing up as a kid, was that style.
Okay, so that is awesome. And so you grew up in the restaurant business.
Absolutely.
And you grew up at George's and watched your dad and watched everyone. And then you had a dream. So tell us about what's opened in the last couple of years.
Yeah, so I mean, growing up as a kid, it was fantastic. I mean, I learned at a very early age. All those ladies that worked there were teaching me how to use the cash register, and my dad would say, "Go talk to those people and go get yourself comfortable and pour teas." And so, I've been in it a long time. I graduated high school in 2004 and moved to Fort Worth. I went to TCU.
We'll
There's a
hold
lot
that
of people in
against
Waco
you.
that know that fact.
They do.
That's-
I'm a proud Horned Frog, and it's okay. I still am a
It
big
is-
Baylor supporter. You
it
just
is
have to
okay.
support your alma mater when it comes time.
So I think it was homecoming weekend this year, and we walked in, and Scott Drew, our basketball coach, was there with a guy he was trying to recruit, real high level recruit, and you guys had sat him right at a long table where the wall behind it is all the basketball memorabilia, and the recruit
kids.
is staring at it, the national championship stuff and whatnot.
Brilliant.
I thought
Thank you.
That was really nice for a Horned Frog to do that for us.
Listen, I can't. I wear purple sometimes in the restaurant, but you'll never see a frog on me, anything like that. I'm a big Baylor supporter. I have a great relationship with Scott Drew, so it's fun. It's a fun rivalry. It's been great for both schools, and so I've enjoyed it. But
Yeah, especially since all our other rivalries ran off from us.
That's right, yeah, so
We
us,
scared them
Tech,
away.
and
the
TCU.
revivalry is great. I love
right.
it. So.
So anyway, so get back to your
so,
dream.
So I moved back home in 2010. We opened up the second George's, my cousin and I, and that was really an opportunity to work with my father, to learn from who I think is the best in the business and has done a great job. And so that for the last 15 years has been a blast and so much fun to do. But for us, it was always, George's was always Dad's. And so an opportunity to do something that could be our own, something that my father never got to do, was really create his own brand. And so we came up with this idea for Jorge's. I loved the name for years. We always joke, let's be the Papacitos of Waco, the Papados of Waco, since they weren't coming here probably. And so,
Well, we're growing. I don't know. You may have to fight them off too.
Not that much, I don't think. But, and so it was an opportunity for us to try to expand the brand a little bit, use that marketing and that brand that we built with George's and the O. It's amazing how many people drive through. It is George's. It's not George's O. It's not O George's. The O in the background was because of Baylor University. And when Baylor built a new baseball ballpark, we wanted a sign out in center field, and we wanted to say home of the Big O, which is what our big tagline is. But Baylor didn't want anything with alcohol. So my dad got a little smart and said, that's fine. So he put this O in the background so people could say, oh, hey, look at the Big O. Well, people think our name is Georgios, Georgios. So it's like, it's just George's, and there's the Big O's in the background. But yeah, it was to take that same kind of idea, use the O, use that nostalgia that we built with people, and to give them a different experience, and to kind of at the same time surprise them. So we built this Mexican concept that we debuted last year, and it really has been a lot of fun. It's been challenging, it's been different, and it kind of has shown me kind of how to do this all over again. You feel like you're doing a good job and you do things well and you know what you're doing, but when you start a new concept, you start a new brand, it really does challenge you. And so it's been a very rewarding and educational experience.
Well, I will tell you, we love Jorge's, and
we gush about it. I mean,
and it is. I mean, there's two things that Steve and M'Lissa Howen love, and you can probably tell just by looking at us. We love comfort food, and we love Tex-Mex food.
and we grew up in San Antonio, so we have a high bar for Tex-Mex food.
But this concept, it has your classic Tex-Mex, but it also, you go one further. Like, there are these ribs that you order as a appetizer that Steve, I mean, they are.
It's like
For
the meal, I'll have four bowls of the ribs.
I tell people all the time, get the ribs, they're stupid good. Like it is different.
And then you have a lot of seafood in your menu, which is great. You have the typical Tex-Mex, and if you are Sunday and you've, like, I might have to do that today, you just need that chicken fried steak, you can get that. It is a great menu.
It is a beautiful restaurant too. Just the physical.
We tried to hide it as we were building it, because we did want to surprise people. I think people, when you have a cafe and you have that old school look and all that, which we did a lot of the same at George's too, we really wanted to kind of throw people for a loop and show them that we had more to us and that we could do more. Not that we're not proud of what we have and what we've done, but we wanted to showcase that we've learned a lot over the years, we're not one-trick ponies.
Okay, so going back to what we started the conversation with, I mean, so I was talking about cafes and even smaller towns than Waco. That's more the mom and pop still operation. Right. You run or your family runs 3 fairly large restaurants.
Yes, both George's restaurants are about 9,000 square feet and sit 325 people, and Jorge's is 12,000 square feet and sits 325. We staff about almost 450 to 500 employees between the 3 restaurants.
Wow, that's a big number. Quick question: do they move between restaurants?
You can't between G1 and G2. You can't just because of common ownership and how those work.
Okay,
but you can if we wanted to have people to work between Jorge's and George's. We thought that would be a great idea, but you just need a lot of staff. It's just hard to do. So they kind of all operate within their own. Well,
this is something that maybe sometime you can do. I have never been in a really functioning, I mean, I love to go to restaurants where you can see the kitchen, but when I peek in, your kitchen seems enormous. And it just is fast paced. I would love to if you could get permission to let me stand in the corner and watch.
Cameras. Never cameras in the kitchen.
No, but it's just
fascinating. As a lawyer, I'm going to
say
that's a good idea.
It's smart, yeah. Learned my lessons over the years. No, it really is. I think it's a cool thing for people to see. It's shocking. Walking into the Jorge's kitchen, it's beautiful and it's massive and it's got space and everything's brand new. It's wonderful. You go to George's original kitchen and you're like, how do they put that much food out of that window? It's tiny. It's been renovated. It's still tiny. It's a shotgun style kitchen. So the person that's frying your chicken fried steak at the original George's is on the back side of the kitchen. They're breading everything and they're walking down through the whole kitchen galley and dropping it in the fryer that's right by the front. It's it's a lot. And when you're on a game day and the tickets are falling off of the rail and you're trying as fast as you can to get that food out in 10, 15 minutes like we typically do, it's a lot. And so it's a lot of dedicated, incredible staff. We are only as good as our people. And we're just very fortunate that we've got that really, really good group there for us.
I've had great service at every restaurant.
So that was sort of my next question, which is, okay, so you're not a mom and pop, cafe in that sense.
We still like to think we're a hole in the wall, but yes.
Right. But you're also not the Pappas Brothers or Brinker Concepts or all of that. Right. So how difficult is that in the restaurant world? I mean, how does that work?
It's the bigger we've gotten, it's definitely become harder. You've got more people, you've got more issues, you've got more more things to deal with. And then just being a full service restaurant, I tell people all the time, you go to Chipotle and you walk in the front door and you order your burrito and that person makes your burrito and you watch them do everything and then they check you out and you're gone. You have that one touch point. You come to George's, the hostess has to get you. They have to seat you the right way. They need to open your chair or pull your chair out. The server's got to come in and get your order right. The bartender's got to make your drink right. The kitchen's got to make your food right. The food runner's got to bring it out. You've got so many touch points and so many opportunities for us to make mistakes. And so that's gotten harder and harder over the years as we've gotten bigger and bigger. And then, it's just managing that many people. And we don't have a HR department. We don't have, when somebody asks for HR, I'm the HR. Right, somebody asks for, you play a lot of roles.
Okay, so that leads to my next question. So you have that issue, and then you're doing it all with family.
Absolutely.
Okay, so how does that work?
I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and it's funny how my father and I have grown in our relationships. I'm an only child. I have a great relationship with my parents, and it took a little while. That balancing act is coming in as I was 25, I guess, and thinking, okay, I want to make these changes and do all these things, and you realize you don't know everything, and there's a lot to learn. I still learn stuff every day, but it was just because dad is upset but your boss is not mad at you, or just because your boss is mad at you doesn't mean your dad doesn't love you, And so we had a lot of knockdown drag outs here and there, but it was like, for me, it was like, I got great job security. I'm going to stand up and do it. But at the end of the day, like the conflict is a good thing. The conflict gets the best things for the restaurant. At the end of the day, that's the goal. The goal is to have the best things for our restaurant, the best for our staff, best for our customers. And so sometimes that conflict is part of it. My cousin and my partner, Kevin, we're very different people. We have different mindsets. We have different personalities. But that's what really helps us, I think, because we see both the good, bad in between, and we see both sides. For my dad doing this for so long, it was really just him. And so he was having to make all those decisions. It's a lot. It was a lot for one person with one restaurant. Now that we have three, it's a lot more decisions, a lot more. So really having that balancing act, we kind of bounce around and spend time at each location every day. And so it's just trying to make sure that we continue to build our teams, build our management teams, so that we have people there that are going to continue to give the customers that incredible experience that they've come to know.
I think that's one of the things that has touched me watching you talk about your dad and seeing the love that you have for him.
Absolutely.
And this wasn't, and I've seen you at work. I mean, this guy is a hardworking guy. If they're short staffed, you will see Kyle running out a plate, or he'll stop and he'll talk to the patrons. And I just, hearing your affection and your love for the business and for your dad, and for your dad to have brought you in early, I think that is really very special.
It's a great relationship. It really, work ethic, I feel like work ethic is not something that's, everybody's kind of born certain ways, but he showed that work ethic to me growing up, and it's something that just kind of, as by osmosis, I guess. I just always want to make my parents proud. I never wanted to disappoint them. I was not a bad kid. I didn't get in trouble. So I was always just trying to make sure I didn't disappoint them. And I think when you've got something like what my father's built and a big legacy, that's a lot of responsibility. And so you want to do it right. It's funny, my dad didn't want me to do this kind of business. He wanted me to go out and do something else. He knew how hard it was on families and how difficult a business it is. But I love the hospitality. I love taking care of people. That's what I was raised in, being a big Italian family. Like, it was always about, family and what's for the next meal. And so that's what I've always enjoyed, and I missed it. And so to be able to come home and learn from him, and to be able to take care of people in my hometown where I grew up, and to continue those relationships, continue having the kids come in and eat with us. I love as long as the kids happy, we'll have we'll have people for years. You know?
Okay, so here's the $1 million question. What do your kids think of it? They're pretty little. I mean, your oldest is
should be 10 in December. Yeah. And so my kids love George's. When we opened up Jorge's, my wife had Jorge's shirts. We didn't have any merch at all. And they showed up in Jorge's shirts to surprise me. And so they're super proud. They love it. They enjoy being able to come to the restaurant. They love to be able to showcase George's. Whenever seeing them write about their favorite restaurant in town when they're at school and they get to write about that, or seeing their friends, it's great. If they want to be in this business, great. If they have no desire to be in it, fine by me. I just want them to do what they want. I do not have them working in the restaurants. If they never work in the restaurant, I will be fine. I want them to enjoy it, but I think that they appreciate that Dad works hard. They always know that, when I come home, I want to spend my time with them. I want to do the things I can. It's hard. You can't just turn your phone off. It's 24/7 when you own. And they've always been understanding of that, but it's something that I know that they're proud of me for, and I want to make sure that they know that Dad's working hard for them.
So you see it a lot in movies for some reason, and I think it is probably emblematic. What do you think it is about the restaurant business that attracts family business, as multi-generational or brothers or whatever? I just that seems to strike a chord more than the
there's no way to get out, and that's the only way to do it is to pass it on. I think some of that. I think it is the family thing. When you are a family business, you raise your kids in it, and if you're a lawyer, you're a teacher, you may not have your kids around at your offices and stuff, but they see what you do. My daughter loves to teach, and my wife was a teacher, so I see that. I see how she's a little teacher with our kids herself. So I think it's just what they grow up and what they notice. But when it is a restaurant, a lot of it is just, it's all hands on deck. And my mom used to work in the restaurant. That's how they met back in the 80s. They met through a restaurant that my mom came to work at. She did books for the restaurants for years. I don't recommend that you work together in your job. Like, you need to have work and then go. So I'm glad my wife and I have never worked that way. But yeah, I think it's just that everybody shows up, everybody does their part, and I'm thankful for that. I didn't have brothers or sisters. My partner, didn't have brothers and sisters, so we kind of grew up as separated by age, but had brothers in this, and you lean on each other. That's what you have to do, because your staff. You spend so much time at your restaurants. You spend so much time with these, and we've been fortunate to have people that have worked for us for 20 and 30 years. They're your family. You see them more than you probably see your own family sometimes. And so those relationships are important.
So it just goes to show, when you sit down and you order your meal, one, think before you complain. But two, there's just so much love that goes into it. And I think that's what makes the chicken fried steak and everything so
the love.
special.
Maybe so, yeah. And you say complain. I always tell people, if you don't tell me, I can't fix it. That's always been one of my big things. I tell staff, tell the customers, there's reviews, there's all kinds of things that we battle on a day in, day out basis. At the end of the day, my restaurant or any restaurant just wants you to have a great experience. But if you don't let somebody know, I can't fix it for you, I can't make it right. That's all we ever want to do, is make sure you leave happy.
I would guess the worst thing is to have nobody say anything but write it on a Yelp review.
Right. Give me a chance to make it right.
Right. Okay.
We need to get Cross to write a Yelp review on the El Jefe burrito.
Cross, one of our great crew members, tried the El Jefe, which is a great meal at Jorge's.
It's a burrito, and it's big. It's
not that it's big; it's dense. It is stuffed. It is stuffed.
And so he enjoyed it while he ate it, but the after effects on his lactose
but he
intolerant
kept
body.
going, oh man, this is so good. I don't feel so great. And I was like, well, stop. He's like, no, I can't. And he ate the whole thing. It's kind of, you've got the Amarillo steak, you got the El Jefe burrito.
Been to that place. I don't know how anybody does that.
No, that's crazy.
We've talked about food challenges. We're not doing. I don't want to watch anybody just devour food.
No, you have great food, great service. And we forgot to say, the other thing about Jorge's too, I talked about it at George's, but it's another great place. If you want to watch sports, they've got this phenomenal bar. How big is that bar?
It's 35 seats. It's U-shaped around, so it's massive.
Very cool.
Right. So Well, Kyle, thanks for being on.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
And obviously, people could tell from our reactions, George's is very close to our heart, as it is to many, many Baylor alum.
Absolutely.
So I want to thank your dad first
Right.
for continuing the tradition. And then I want to thank you and your cousin for realizing how important this institution is. And we're going to back you 100%. If you're a Wacoan and you haven't been, I can't believe it.
No,
what are you waiting
that's
for?
crazy.
You got to go.
It does happen. You'd be surprised.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. But you may not know about Jorge, so definitely go check it out. And if you are an out-of-towner, I mean, you come to town, we love Chip and Joanna. There's so much to see with them. But break out a little bit and go try George's or go try Jorge's because they've been here a long time.
Let's go over again.
Social handles. And
What's your socials?
So at George's Waco, at George's Waco 2, and at Jorge's Waco are all three of those handles there. And I think that goes through Facebook, Instagram, even Twitter, I think. Now, we've tried to work on getting them all right. We had to get through them some. So.
Right. And Kyle mentioned it. So if you're going to be here on a game weekend, all three of those places are super busy on game weekends.
Absolutely.
It is worth it, but call ahead, understand what the wait might be. They have great bars, so you can get game ready there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so, and that's obviously Waco grows on those weekends, and there's a lot of restaurants like that. I mean, you're not the only ones that are backed up, but
we do take reservations. Game day weekends are a little bit. We usually get those turned off just because it's hard to control. But we do have wait lists that you can go online. You can do that as all three locations.
Okay.
And now that we know how the Big O is made, I mean, it's a real thing.
It is.
It's crispy eyes.
Right. And circling back, order what you want.
Absolutely.
But at some point in your life, you deserve a George's Chicken Fried Steak and a Big O.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's quintessential. We've got 100 menu items at that restaurant, at both of those George's locations, and about 70 at Jorge. So we don't have small menus. We've got variety across the board. But if you're going to come through, and I'd recommend anything, it's chicken fried steak, it's cold beer, and some crazy wings typically too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's for another session. We got to figure out how do you manage a menu that size. Join us. Keep following us on Texas 10. Follow us on our socials, Texas 10 Podcast on Instagram, Texas 10 on Facebook. Go to our website, texas10.com. But mostly get out there. Get out in Texas. Discover the local businesses. The locals are the best. They'll treat you right.
And in this instance, if you're heading down or up I-35, just over on Spate, like you said, the 17th and 18th Street exit heading south. Talk to the Texas Department of Transportation about
I
getting
can't
there
tell
to
right
the
now.
north
It's
side.
crazy right
You
now.
can do it. You can do it.
It's worth it.
It
Or
is
go
worth
over to
it.
Franklin and try Jorge's,
Yes.
especially if you're here on Sunday. We love you, Kyle. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank
this
y'all
has
for
been
having
fun.
me. This is great. I appreciate what you do, and I agree. Texas is the best. Anytime we can have people come in from all over the state, they want us to put a George's in their own hometowns. I don't know if I'm doing that yet. We're not ready for that. So.
All right, stay with us.
Bye.
About you, and I love this land. It takes my breath away. From the Palo Duro to the Gulf Coast plain, from the heart of the hill country to the piney wood shade. I love this land. It takes my breath away.